Good morning, students. Today I am going to introduce you poem number 3 having the title Peace. This poem is written by Swami Vivekananda. This is a spiritual poem written by Swami Vivekananda. Now I would like to introduce you about the poet. The poet Swami Vivekananda was known as Narendranath Datta and who was an Indian monk. Swami Vivekananda was the great philosopher and spiritualist. He was born on 12th January 1863 and died on 4th July 1902. He was known as the Narendranath Datta and he was an Indian monk. He was a chief disciple of the 19th century Indian mystic Ramakrishna Paramhans. Swami Vivekananda was a great Indian philosopher and spiritualist. He has written spiritual and meaningful poems and essays. Now, I would like to introduce you the poem Peace in short. Peace is one of the spiritual poems written by Swami Vivekananda. It signifies the ultimate need of life. The whole poem is about the greatness of peace. Now, I would like to explain the title of the poem. The title of the poem Peace is solely about peace. The poet describes the sublime nature of peace. Peace is a state of our existence which inspires us to rise above worldly things. It enables us to appreciate real power, joy, beauty, and knowledge. So, the title of this poem is very apt. Now, I am going to explain this poem stanza-wise. Now, I would like to read the stanza number 1 and 2. Behold, it comes in might, the power that is not power, the light that is in darkness, the shade in dazzling light. In this stanza number 1, according to the Swami Vivekananda, peace comes in might. It is the power which is not power. It is like the light which is in the darkness. It is the shade in dazzling light. In this way, Swami Vivekananda describes about the peace in the stanza number 1, which is also as like a dazzling light in the darkness. Now I am going to read this stanza number 2. It is joy that never spoke and grief unfelt, profound, immortal and unlived, eternal death unmourned. In this stanza number 2, according to the poet, peace is the joy which never spoke. It is the grief which is not felt. It is the immortal life which is unlived and eternal death which is unmourned. In this way, the poet describes the situation of the peace. It is a great joy for each and everyone. That's why in this stanza number 2, the poet refers peace as a source of joy. Now, I am going to explain this stanza number 3 and 4. Now, this stanza number 3, it is not joy nor sorrow, but that which is between. It is not night nor morrow, but that which joins them in. In this stanza number 3, the poet said about the peace that it is neither joy nor sorrow, but what lies between them? It is neither night nor day, but that which joins them. In this way, he describes the peace, nor joy, not sorrow. Then I am going to read this stanza number 4. It is the sweet rest in music and pause in sacred art, the silence between speaking, between two fits of passion. Now, in this stanza number 4, the poet describes the peace as a sweet rest in music. It is the calm of hearts. It is a pause in sacred art and silence between speaking. It is the calm of heart between two fits of passion. In this way, the poet describes the peace as a sacred art and it is a calm of heart. In this way, he describes peace as a sacred art. Now, I am going to read the stanza number 5 and 6. It is the calm of heart, it is beauty never seen, and love that stands alone. It is a song that lives unsung, and knowledge never known. In this stanza number 5, the poet describes the beauty which is rare beauty and self-reliant love. It is a song, an unsung song, and unknown language. In this way, the poet describes the peace as an unknown language. Now I am going to read this stanza number 6. And then explain the stanza number 6. It is death between two lives and lull between two storms, the void whence rose creation, and that where it returns. In this stanza number 6, the poet describes the peace is death between two lives and lull between two storms. It is also void, void means space, where creation took birth to which it returns. In this way, in this stanza number 6, the poet describes peace as a creation, which is the symbol of new birth, new life, or the happiness. Then, now I am going to explain this stanza number 7. Before going to explain this stanza number 7, I would like to read it. To it the teardrop goes, to spread the smiling palm. It is the goal of life, and peace its only home. In this way, in this stanza number 7, the poet describes the peace which goes to the teardrop which creates smiling on the face. It is the goal of life. Such is the divine nature of peace. It means teardrop which creates smiling on the face. When a person feels happily, he jumps with happily because of the success, and that's why his teardrops which creates smiling on his face. That's why peace is a source of joy, which is also expressed through the tears. That's why very artistically the poet describes the peace in this stanza number 7. Now the last one point, the poem Peace, which is written by Swami Vivekananda. This poem is a great philosophical poem. Through this poem, the poet tries to define the term peace. Peace is a mental as well as a social state which depends on our environment. But the poet speaks here about mental peace, not of social peace. It has great power, though not seen by our eyes. It is joy, about which nothing can be said. In this way, the present one poem, Peace, written by Swami Vivekananda, this poem is an integral element not only this pandemic but also the whole life. Thank you very much.